The single most important influence in my childhood while I was growing up was my father. So my father was in the army, and I was born and brought up in an army environment. And just like my father, I wanted to be an army officer. But then the spectacles came in and I could do nothing about it. But he still remains the single most prominent influence in my life. Everything that I am right now you see in front of me is exactly for my father. He was an engineer, so I wanted to become an engineer. So I took enrollment in a civil engineering college. Could not become an engineer. Yeah. And then slow and steadily I started figuring out as to what I was and what influences me, and I eventually landed up in advertising. So if you ask me who's been the single most influential factor in my life, my father. That's what he was. Single most factor that's influenced my primary hobby is music. Even while I was growing up, I started listening to the likes of Michael Jackson, Boney M, Billy Idol. And then eventually it all bursted out when I grew up into adolescence, and that's when the music of the likes of the Rocks, of the Pink Floyds, the Jim Morrisons, the Black Sabbath, AC/DC entered my life. And after they've entered it, I closed the door and they did not leave after that. So music is the single most primary hobby that I just love to spend time on. That's what it is. I'm in the advertising business, yeah, and the single most influential personality in advertising that got me hooked into this field is David Ogilvy. Not that I can quote a lot of his creative work, but the one thing that really stuck in my mind was when I saw that print ad for Rolls-Royce, in which he had written, the only thing that you can hear in this car at 60 miles an hour is the ticking of the clock. And that got me stupended, saying that, oh, a person can also think in such a manner. And that's what got me into advertising. In my career in Bahrain with Mindshare and previously to that with there's one client I've always worked passionately with. That's the Formula One Grand Prix. In 2014, BIC was celebrating the 10th year anniversary of the track. And the event was supposed to be glitz and glamorous. But the 10th year also brought in the first night race in Bahrain. And we wanted people to feel and understand what a night race is. And we were trying different ways in media. How do we come up with the essence of night race? So what we thought is that night is black and day is white. So we thought, what is that one medium which has got white and black in it? And back in those days in 2014, the newspaper was the single most biggest media in Bahrain. And the newspaper is black and white. So we thought, okay, let's use this platform. And then we said, how do we bring in the night essence and how do we bring in the 10th anniversary essence? So one of our guys in the team said, why don't we turn the newspaper which comes to your doorstep or in every store or in your office in a white into black? And that was never done on that front. So on the day of the launch, we had printed the newspaper in the front covers completely in a midnight black color, which was never ever done in Bahrain, and I don't think so in any of the GCC countries. But how do we bring out the element of the 10th anniversary? Every single letter or a digit in that copy of that particular edition, which had 10, was highlighted in red and was made bold. And every user who is to read through it got the essence that it's the 10th anniversary. So we not only hit the jackpot in terms of talking about the night race, but we also brought up the element of the 10th race. This to me was the biggest probably challenge to actually do it operationally, because firstly we had to talk to several people in the newspapers to do that, because it has never been done before. We had to put to assurance that this is going to come out with flying colors. And second is the operational issue. In order to get that drafted, in order to cross-check every copy that every single letter of 10 has been highlighted, in order to have the right midnight color on the front page of the newspaper, and operationally doing it all overnight. And the newspaper was delayed by almost about 2 hours that day, which it's supposed to be out in the market by 4:45, came out at 4:45. But nevertheless, we got the newspaper out. And to me, I think that was one of the biggest success stories I can relate to. I want to be a part of the current pandemic that's going on. I want to be a part of this COVID-19. I want to try and find out solutions in terms of how I can put to rest a consumer's mind about COVID-19? Well, one thing is pretty sure, COVID-19 is here for us to stay. It's all about adaptability. How are we going to adapt ourselves to the circumstances of COVID-19? I want to partner up with to the likes of Microsoft. I want to partner up to the likes of Johnson & Johnson. I want to partner up to the likes of my local partners here, Batelco, Viva. How I can work with them in terms of getting the community of Bahrain together, trying to understand how am I going to lead the rest of my life, considering COVID-19 is going to be there as a lifelong partner. I want to participate in a project with any one of these and try and see as to how we can work magic under COVID-19. What UNICEF has done is specifically for Save Africa from AIDS. And that particular campaign had 2 likes, in fact. It was trying to save the community, okay, and it was trying to do it by people encouraging people to donate for Africa for AIDS. And I think they bought the AIDS concert in mind. And they had got the true likes of big performing artists, not only from the pop industry, but also from the rock industry on a stage in order to perform for the live AIDS concert. And by the way, that's the concert Freddie Mercury shot to fame from his Queen performance. And after that, Queen never looked back. And that brought to me as a mind, if I ever have to think of a campaign which had a real success in history, was the UNICEF's Live Aid campaign. For every idea, or probably any person to be really successful and garner his full potential, he or she needs a platform on that front. It could be probably a music platform, it could be an artist platform, it could be an educational platform, it could be a health platform, a technology platform, science platform. The end word is the platform. I feel the CN platform is such a unique platform wherein it caters to not just an individualistic growth, but it also is trying to look into a way in terms of how you can grow your value. Now, a value need not just necessarily be in terms of a monetary value. It could also be a value which attaches to your personality, to your career, to your family, or probably to the society or friends, as a matter of fact. Yeah, and I don't think so there is any other platform right now, at least from my point of view, which exists, which brings all these categories together. But there are categories from the advertising industry, and I'm hoping to connect with a few of you guys on that front. But there are other categories where one would have never even thought that I would venture into. Right now, I'm focused on advertising, but maybe there is somebody out on this platform who takes me from a different category. And that's what is the essence what CN brings to the plate. I'm giving it a shot. I don't know where it will lead me, but it would take me somewhere. I would encourage all of you to participate in the same.